All right, let's start. Welcome everyone. Today wait, is this bright enough? Kind of? This is decent. Okay. Anyhow, welcome back to week 4. This week we're going to be learning how to use GitHub's API tools and as well as using JQuery, which is a really great JavaScript library that you guys will be working on today. So in this unit 3, we're going to be working on more APIs, and we're just going to reiterate what happened last week. So you guys finished the board game and the Jiffy, but if you guys didn't have the time to complete those, this week is going to be for catching up, so that in case that you didn't complete those, use this week to catch up. And the reason why is because we know that these projects actually do take a lot of time, and we want to be able to give up more time for you guys to complete it. Because for Make Reddit, we're going to give you guys 2 weeks to complete Make Reddit, because that project is pretty big. Setting up your own database and the front end, that takes a while. So for that project, you're definitely going to have more time to complete it. But for this week, just make sure to catch up and submit those assignments on through our submission portal. Anyhow, getting help. I know that you guys are struggling a little bit right now with some midterms and everything. But again, if you guys need help, we're here to help you. Just don't bother at all giving us an email. We'll be glad to help you guys out. Attendance for today, bit.ly/shipweb, and the code for today is GitHub. Yes, sir. Oh. I forgot to change it. My bad. There we go. Try it this time? No. Try it now. It did work?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right. Awesome. I think you all got it. Assignment 3 details. So for this week, again, we're going to be able to catch up on the concentration game that you guys worked on, as well as the Jiffy API, which you should have implemented everything that we have learned so far from JavaScript and from JSON, as well as from APIs today. Do you guys have any questions regarding the assignments for this week? Yeah, we're pretty much set. Resources, so CodePath, again, they're taking signups for next quarter, so if you guys want to start signing up, do so now. So you guys can already get priority, because it's first come, first serve. Sometimes spaces do fill up, especially at UCI and UCSD, since we're the top performing schools right now in terms of CodePath. SD hacks. If you guys want to start applying your skills, if you guys think that you know web dev well enough, apply to SD hacks. It's going to be this weekend. They're still taking signups. So if you guys want to go for it and start cracking all your web dev skills that you've learned so far, apply. It's going to be really fun. Or if you think you know more, you can apply as a mentor and help other students with hacking. Cool. Oh, this should have been before. But yeah, sign up for CodePath. And today we're going to be learning more on APIs and network requests again. But this time, we're going to be using JQuery. So JQuery, summarized, means it's just a fast, small, and feature-rich JavaScript library. That's all you really need to know. You can read the rest of the code on your own. But there are some key differences between jQuery and JavaScript. jQuery is just a library of JS code. So imagine that there's a bunch of functionalities that you built on JS, and you store it in the library. That's essentially jQuery. They did it all for you already. So that way you don't have to build your own library. This is used most often for simplification of HTML dot traversing, for example, for loops. This has been used since 2006, and it's currently one of the most powerful technologies that they use in web development. So if you guys want to get a job if you put jQuery there, you'll get hired immediately. That's basically it. Whereas JavaScript, you can tell here that, let me use a little pointer. You can see how they say that it sucks, sometimes fails. It's since 1995. It's pretty old, not too old, but JavaScript is mainly used for interface interactions, and that's it. Next one. So in other words, we go from doing this in JavaScript to, well, actually, count, how many lines is this? This is like within the function. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines of code. We go from this using JavaScript to this, no cap. Just 2 lines of code using jQuery. So, and this is the same thing that we worked on last week, getting the API, the JSON of the Pokédex. You guys remember? We had to do all this because we wanted to show you the foundational way, the foundational method of getting a GET call request from a website. Whereas jQuery simplifies all of this into one function, .get. That's it. Now, let's get coding. But today is going to be a little bit different. We're gonna instead of me teaching you guys how to work on it, now that you've learned a little bit of JSON, jQuery, JavaScript, as well as HTML, now I want you guys to get in a group. Since he's charging, can you guys move to where he is located? Yeah. Yeah, so 3. Yeah, so make a group, all of you 3.
All 3 of you?
Yes, sir. Nice. And so now with the project starter, I want you guys to figure out how to implement the network request file. So everything that you need to fill out is on the network file, and then from there you have to figure out how to use jQuery API getter, as well as go through the user's API, the GitHub user's API, and then from there implement your solutions in the network.js file. So the main file that you're going to be working on is network.js. And to give you guys a sense of what the project should look like, so imagine imagine that we're actually in a company right now, and I'm the business guy that's giving you the specifications of what I want on my app. This is basically how it is in the real world, and then I tell you a prototype or I give you a sketch. So I'm the business guy, and I'm telling you, oh, I want something like this. Like, can you make this for me? So the UI is already built, but I want you to pull all this information from GitHub using the API. Does that make sense? The first part?
No, I got that.
It's on the, are you on the networks.js? Yeah. Take a look at it. Yep. So how will that look like? So I want the get users to fetch all these users. There's a function called search users. I want it to be able to search everyone when I click the search button. Well, the most relevant, but GitHub API does it for you. And from there, fetch the profile of the user and the repository that we have. Does that make sense? So this is basically like a group exercise where you guys now imagine that another engineer just gave you this project and they're telling you, hey, you're the guy responsible for APIs, right? And you're like, yeah, I'm the guy. So like, all right, here you go. Just do this for me. And then using all the knowledge that you've done so far, now you have to implement the solution that they are looking for. And if you guys want a couple hints, I'll give you some right now. So the first one, what's the first function that we have? Search users. Wait, can you guys see that? Nah, huh? I know what you're going to do. There you go. Is that better? That's okay, right? Okay. So we have our I'll give you the first hint. First, we need to search users. So let's see how this engineer structured our work for us. Let's look at the index HTML page, because we're assuming that's like the very first thing that we start off, right? So always start off with what's the origin. Where's the origin? So here I have a navigation, body, container. Okay. So GitHub accounts. Okay. So I know that all the GitHub accounts are going to go in here, most likely, because there's nothing in here, right? It's empty. So I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have to put stuff here on the dex, under the dex div. And I'm calling the JS networks as well as the JS index. Oh, let me check. I already know networks is not filled out yet. So let me check at the index.js. And if you guys see here, okay. So this is, if you guys, I'm going to teach you guys what this means. This is a JQuery function that handles an event, which is when they click on a search. Okay. So when we search, when we submit, what do we want to do? We want to search users. Okay, so that's the very first thing that we want. And then display users gets the data from the search users. Okay. And then from there, it's just basic HTML template, where it just fills in all the information about user. Cool. So now we know a little bit how it's structured. So now we actually need to go through the networks and figure out how to use the API in JQuery as well as GitHub, the users API, to figure that out. And I'm going to show you which one it is. So this is the starting point for you guys, the users API. This is the one that you guys are going to be referencing. Yeah. So if we go here, which one from the networks.js function, which one do you guys think will be the most useful from here? Exactly. There you go. You found the first target. So how do you get all users? Okay. So you found and I can see that there's some queries, some parameters that I can use here. I can use a since, but that's not what I'm looking at. I want to search them based on the name that I search. So how do we find that out? Based on the names that we find out. That will be one of the challenges for you guys. And if you don't find your answer here, then look it up. Go on Google and search it up. How do you get all users? Searching GitHub. But make sure to talk to each other. If you're not understanding something, if you don't know how to use jQuery, maybe someone's looking at how to use the API for GitHub. The other person is looking at how to use jQuery. Did you look at the JQuery API yet?
I looked at it.
You guys can split up the work and then teach each other. That's how you actually. No? And if you don't find it, regular jQuery, or search it up. Mm. The what, sorry? No. If you can't seem to find it, then Google it. Put something like jQuery get API. API request for jQuery. And I'm going to give you guys another hint. Once you guys are able to find a query, what do you want to do with the users? What do we have here? Display users, right? So I know for sure that once I retrieve the users here, I'm going to have to call the function, call the display users, and pass in the data. Does that make sense? Within this method, once you get the data, you call this function using the data that you retrieved. That's another hint I'm going to give you.
to 100. 100 and up to 100 per page. And then you go into the together, you actually take out the resource and the data. I don't know how you do it.
In another minute, I will give you guys another hint. But don't wait for them. It's better if you guys can catch up without having the hints. Next hint. If, as a business guy, always assume that they don't know anything, or that they know a lot of things, even if it's an engineer. Just because I told you to go through the users API, doesn't mean that you're going to find what you need for the search here. So what should you do? You should think outside the box and say, okay, I don't think I can really find anything here. But I noticed that there's something else in here. There's a search one.
Yeah, no, I found that.
Alright, so let me click on it. Let me see underneath it. Okay, search users. I think this might be clutch. I clicked on it. Oh, here it is. So I can search users based on a query. And some of the qualifiers are specific areas of, so it's basically anything. I can search the users based on anything. And if you guys want to search it here, here are the things that it could search for. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Yeah, you can search it based on the login. That's exactly what we want. The login is essentially the username of the GitHub account. So how will this look like? Well, thankfully, GitHub gave me an example right here. So all I need to do is GitHub, HTTPS right here. I just need to copy paste this api.github.com and then /search users question mark and then the query. So in here, do you guys remember this section is the input that you guys are getting from your query. So you just autofill it using what the user automatically fills it up with. Does that make sense? No? So it will look something like this.
Like when you just highlighted, like I have found like 4 lines.
So with jQuery, I'm going to have to find a function, which I won't show you guys yet, but like jQuery, I'll call it jQuery API.get, and then it probably will take, I'm pretty sure it's going to take in the string of it, and I'm going to need to pass in the query parameters, which in this case it's going to be the query. So we'll oh wait, I forgot this goes outside. Something like that. So oh, and don't forget to use these brackets. Yeah, they're supposed to be like this. The slanted bracket, the slanted things. I forgot what they're called. So now you just need to find what's the actual function for jQuery. Now you guys need to figure that out. But in the meantime,
I don't know how to format like JavaScript. If I don't remember correctly, if I remember something like, I didn't even just look it up. I was like, how do you do it? And get like the questions and they say, oh, it's AJAX underscore get. That is magic. Okay, so data option, specify data to send, instead of the one that the correct comment. That's it, right? We don't have to send anything to it. No. Yeah, and then data. And then success, function. It's a function that you use that for. If they request it, I don't know how to do more of that. Oh, so it's just, I think you can copy it. By default, they will come now as the possible specified XML. Do we expect a JSON? Or XML? Just get rid of the rest of it, but like, I don't know, looks like free. I think it's pretty good. Well, it says, data type, because the type of data type in the server, the type string. Yeah, but then you know the look like this. No, but it's a good so you get these over there first, and then you get this. The first good size, right? Right. You want to go to 200. But it's yeah, you want to go to 200 after. No. look up or try to get a pattern to your file. What do you do from to specify some very limited? Yeah, you want to like no, and don't want to do it. So you need that now. Well, optional, but the other thing is one that you get the key. It's not even the open, you get the right. That is continuous, that's really well.
How's you guys doing it so far?
We're getting somewhere. Figure out to properly format the get request.
The get request?
What do you got?
The dollar sign goes up.
Yeah,
And it's with the other, remember how I showed you guys earlier? The other quotation marks? The ones that are, yeah, these. Yeah, the backticks. You're supposed to be using backticks.
The ones that are
On the top left corner. Yeah. So now what are you getting from that data? If we look here, we can see that, oh, it gives us the amount of results, and it gives us an array of items.
The thing is, is it return it, or should we pass it on into the function?
You pass it. Remember how I told you guys, we have to pass it to display users, the data. Yeah. So in the comments that I wrote here, it was going to be using the data that you guys get. Yeah, on the index.js. Takes an array of users. And what do you guys get here? Which item? Yeah. So which one is the one that contains the users? So let's see. Yeah. Phone count. So that doesn't give the users. Include results, false. Items. Oh, it has the login, which is the user account. And it's an array. So I'm assuming that there must be a bunch of these. Right? Okay. So once I get the data, I'm going to pass in the data dot items into my display user function.
I'm going to assume that we don't need to do all the optional.
No.
Wait, so, but, okay.
Display users already handles the option.
We have this, so every time you like have a variable, like var.
Right? Turn it up. Console.log. If you're happy. Because that function is called anyway. Or you can call it outside of it. So that it always points to the make sure to call it outside. Yeah. Like outside of it. Actually, no, you have to call it outside of it. Okay. Yeah, outside of the class. or test. Oh, actually, no, it's a static issue. So you just call the first user and then put a query. Imagine that you type in a query. Just user, and then put in a query. And then end. No, you just pass in the. Imagine that you're typing and you breathe. Imagine that. That's only going to return you one most likely. Probably just do end, so you can get multiple. Yeah, like that. And then you can. If you run it, and now you go to your tool, that would work. You just got to look the spec. Yeah. And call that 6 users next time. Oh, you have to call it as network. Yeah. It, spec it in. No access network before initialization. You get the response title. You didn't get the. Because what are you making a variable equal to? Oh. What is your variable? What is your file again? Okay. That is one JSON. There you go. Yeah. Okay. So when you how you do it? Yeah. Okay. Maybe a little bit. Not yet. To figure out how where you like that. Yeah. So you just press okay, so game code. You saw that too, right? Yeah, you found it too. Yeah. But I didn't think about how it what do you do? You just deny it? Yeah. What is that? Oh, okay. Look at the concept. You look at the JQuery documentation. Maybe you admit it's 3 minutes, we'll tap it down. So, sorry.
What is this one do? I'm gonna give you a second. It's on the parameter is function data. Yeah, you see that's what I was saying. I think that's like function run is the request receive. Okay, well I would want to make sure that it says C, right? Because I want to use success. You don't need that. It'll run if it's a C. So what do you really care about? Well, you just care about the data, right? So in that case, we just need a function that passes in the data. Is that what you would pass on the? And that's what you do? Yes, sir. So we can see. Okay, so then we can do that here. You also have that on the Delta school? Oh, not on the YouTube. You see how it has the data? Yeah. And so for data that's put none or no, there's no, right? You know how it's like it's put it on. Read it. And then you like it's a lambda. Okay. Yeah. Now we're getting what is that? That's I'm using it, but I don't know how to do that. No, those not making sense. You got the non, but non is Python. Yeah, but check out the W3 school is a good example. We look back at it. Last week's project was really good relative. So we don't have an example. We don't. Function later. What did we do? We got on the data that we said. And then the lambda function. So the data was on. Yeah. So then what I would do right here is pass on to this. Yes, sir. And that way we're going to data. This one. I do that item. Right? Right. Good word. So now it's not new position. Bracket is first and then yeah. First the bracket, the curly bracket, and then the function data. What do you mean? Yeah. Function data. Right. You don't know the way. So before this one, I'm gonna add that right there. Then I'm gonna close this one. Yep. 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 But all the data first. Let's see what the data is. Maybe we can check it out. Just follow data. So we can see what it turns out. And then do console log stuff with data. So you can see what it actually gives you. What about you? What do you get? gonna be a first function, right? Okay. You figure that? You do a little closer. Function data is using your inside the actual function. Yeah, you open, it's like you make a function inside the inside when you're passing it up like in the parameters. You do that. And literally the data it processes it for you. So at first when you get the response is getting it you're getting like the header too, the link to the header and basically like giving you all that information. But then there is response JSON. This one takes out the data, like it takes all that shit, and it takes the response JSON. That's what you take that data. Okay. So then you just call items on it, which will be same, and that's when you're gonna receive the right here. I just tested it again. So I was actually having to take this off like this. I'm gonna try right now to test it out. If it works regularly, that's it. Okay, so. Wait, so the function where you do a automatically based on. So right here, this is the function you're going to call. Right. The function you're going to call if the response comes correct. So when you call it just this, I was originally like saying variable. Yeah, for based on what it is. And for that it got like every. Right. Which gives you so that gives you the extra information like oh was the response correct all that information. But if you pass data on inside this parameter function, right, the part where it's supposed to be function, it takes care of that and it's saying, or it's looking making sure that hey, you guys doing the response. You guys doing the response and you're gonna maybe that's what you do whatever you want to do, you put it in that function. So at first I just console log data just to see what it was and then use like the response data. Because at first I was gonna try to like take out that, right? But then like console log it before I did this. Then you
Let's go over to the first one, so that you guys can get a clue. So from the api.jquery.com site, it's a little bit hard to understand it at first, but that's why there's a lot of other websites there to explain it, and Eric did a good job in going through other websites that help you explain it, and he figured out what it actually meant. I mean, he just copied and pasted the example that they've given. It was through W3 schools. So what we're supposed to do is, you guys already figured out the .get function now, right? From here, we just paste that URL that we were using. And here we want to pass in the user, or the query in this case, as a parameter. From there, you guys notice that there was another function or another parameter that was being passed, which was a closure or a lambda function. And from there, what is the, you know how it says that it takes in the data, right? So what do we do with that data? If you guys were able to understand correctly the documentation of jQuery, essentially what this function does is that if it passes the data, if the response is okay, then it's going to retrieve the response JSON, which in this case, it would look something like this. And from here, all we know is that, what we do know is that we need items, right? So all we need to do is pass the items array into our display users function. So in this case, what is this going to look like? It's going to look like display users, data, the items. Does that make sense so far? Okay. Perfect. So now that I gave you guys the first response, the other two are easy peasy, piece of cake. They're literally the same. You just have to figure out which GitHub API you have to pass in. Yeah. So 5 minutes before you guys clock out. And if we test it out, let's see if it works. Yeah. I'm going to search for user, mem. Nice. And it retrieved me all the users that I was looking for. Damn, I wish I would have gotten this one. Memo. That's the OG. Yeah.
And the resources will be
I'll give you guys a hint. In this example, it will be located on the get a single user underneath the user section. Yeah. Oh yeah, no worries. It's in the computer project, but it should be easy to understand and follow through. Yeah. Bye. Yeah. That's why it's easy peasy. And function, data. I have to look at the user.html to see what it means. In this case, it's on their pages. Oh, it's the user HTML, sorry. So we need to, from the user, we need the avatar, location, bio, blog. Okay, so how do I retrieve those things? If I look at it, oh, it's all within the same, it's the whole data. So perfect. That's clutch. So I don't need to do any data.items.name. Any of that. I just pass in the whole thing.
You guys want to use that data now?
Yes. The display single user. Yeah.
Wait, so RAM or like the get user? I'm using the same get function.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, can we copy the whole get, like the part from?
Yeah.
Display.
But what's going to be different is this part right here. It's going to be github.com/ what is it? Over here on the users. Oh, it's users.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. Users and then the username. Okay. So I just have to pass in the username now, which is right here. There you go. And then I do the function data, and you guys can already guess what would I do here. Yeah, display single user right here, third option. And then I would do data. Try it out. So now, when you search for a user, If I click on someone, it should display me their information now. You got it? Nice. So now we need to get the repositories of the users, which is the last function. Yeah. Do you have it right here? So now, oh, it's a dot. Oh, does that work? The JQuery? What's the list one? Oh, I don't know. It's an API that API language. Yeah, those strings, this is what sucks about strings, is that they never tell you if there's something missing on it. Like, it's just, that's the horrible thing about strings, but you'll get used to it. You're going to find out that 90% of most coding errors come from strings later on, literally. Alright, for the next one, let's do this one together. So repos, where can I find that?
It's literally that. Like, it's the same.
Repositories?
It's the same URL for the get user.
Okay.
You just add a /repos.
/repos. Ah.
But I don't know what we're supposed to use after that. Fix it. And
Display user repos. Where would that be located if I was in the users right now? Where would that be located if I was here?
Okay, right side, repos. Repository.
Cool.
And then it's list user repository.
Ah, okay. List user repositories. Oh, okay. So I need to pass in users. It takes in the user and then repos. Okay. Yeah, so I can just copy paste all of this. Pretty much all of this. I'm just going to copy and paste it so I don't get those string errors. But in here, I'm going to put users and then /repos. Yep. You got it?
I don't know if I was listening, but oh, that wasn't not really. I might be done with off
Let me see if it works. I'm going to try it out.
Oh, do we still have a console log on the repo?
A what?
On function step 6. So I'm user back there. Line 40.
What about it?
Console log the repo.
Oh no, we were just testing it out.
Okay, yeah, because I got a whole bunch of them on the boot.
Yeah, we were we were testing it when we were building it. Yeah, there you go. I got like hella repos from this guy. Perfect. I got this guy's repositories showing up into our page. So now we need to figure out. Let's have some fun with the API and see what we can do with it. For example, in other words, this is a lot to me. I just want like the top, let's say top 10. How would I do that? That's a bonus challenge for you guys. Can you display only 5 repositories or like 8? Can you put a limit to how many repositories you can show? Huh? I do. I certainly do.
So this category, type sort, direction, all parameters. So this reading category.
And if you can't find it, then let's ask Google. GitHub repositories, GitHub API repositories, limit the size. Ah, damn it. It gave me a limit on my account limit. Or, let's see. Oh, I found something. Changing the number of items received. How about this? So I searched up GitHub API. How can I just only receive a certain amount? Because what if you're making an app and you want to make it look nice? Instead of displaying everything going all the way down, what if we do like a list? Like in Google search, when it only shows you every 10 out of 20, right? And then you keep pressing on the right button and it'll show you more. So how do you do that? Well, GitHub helps you out with how many items you can receive by changing it. Yes, sir. Well, we're not going to do pagination right now, but I'm just going to implement the foundations of pagination. In this case, how many do I want per page? In this case, we can change it right here by just adding this parameter right here. Per page, I just searched on Google. I searched up GitHub API display per page. And it's right here, traversing with pagination. So I thought, okay, let me look through it. I scrolled down more. And then here it is. Okay, something that looks relevant. Changing the number of items received. Okay, that's totally useful. Let's try it out. So I'm just going to add this parameter right here, per page, to my repositories. So I'm going to go into my repos right here, and I'm going to add the query. Question mark per page equals, let's make it just 3 for now. And let's see if it worked. Huh? I'm going to reload this guy's page, and you guys see that he has a bunch of repositories, right? So now that I reload it, it's going to show up only 3 repositories. Did it work on yours? Yeah. There you go. Awesome. Now it just loaded 3 items on the page. So whenever you're working on a project on your own, and you're using an API, and you want to figure out how can I only get just 20 or 10 of these, just Google it. There's always going to be something in the documentation that allows you to do more things with it per page. You can also, GitHub does the pages for you also. For example, let's say that we're on page 14, it'll do that for you, and it'll display all of those.
How do you make it do that? Or will it need more than 30 minutes to figure it out?
Yeah, that's a bonus challenge for you guys, but what you would do is you would just say per page, put 10. And then each page, you divide it up the amount of pages. Let's say that I have 50 repositories. I can just say, oh, divide it up in 5. And that's how many total pages I have. So 50 divided by 5, 10. And then I just have the page parameter right here. And then I create a little array of buttons that create those numbers for me based on the amount of pages. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then every time I click on the dot, the index is going to represent the key. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then you use this call.
You got the way that you create buckets.
You create buckets of it. So that way you don't fill up the bigger bucket, the big boy bucket. It only loads the small buckets as you go through each bucket. Yeah. But this is how you would implement it. Pretty subtle. Easy. But that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed learning how to use GitHub's API. Yeah, but now that you know this, you can literally just copy and paste this function into whatever project that you work on from here on out. So for example, if you guys go to
Would you say that it's easier to when it comes to web APIs, for example,
there's a movies API that you guys can check out. This is what the iOS class learns, how to use a movies API. You can check out what they do. You get the latest movies. Where is it? Get latest. We use the get latest movies API. And that's it. All you have to do is just copy paste this function. Just put the URL of this API. And that's it. You're chilling. This function that we just taught you today, this is the foundations of API. And all you have to do now is, the dirty work is in here, which you guys already know how to do, which is just HTML templating. But once you have the template, now it's just, the API call is literally one call. That's it. Just one tiny function, 2 lines of code, and you're set. But pretty good so far. So, hope you guys liked it. This will be the end of the class for today. Next week, we're going to start learning how to set up your own database, logging in, authenticating users, saving information, storing it, etc. Hope you guys had fun today. And let me finish off this QuickTime screen recording.